Welcome to the Forever Better Academy podcast, where you will be given the principles, tools, and techniques to reach the next stage on your journey of self-mastery. Who could you become? I'm your host, Wade Vincent. Welcome back, guys. This is Wade Vincent here, and I want to start with you. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. Okay, so what do I mean when I say that? Now, along my journey and getting better at life, if you want to, make it a very obvious and blunt statement, I started to understand and learn and really realize the value behind the circle that I associate with, right? So you guys may have heard of a saying. Basically, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, right? So if you are the smartest person in the room, that means you're hanging around with people that you're not getting new ideas or concepts potentially, or thoughts or ways to view things and a greater input, right? How do you get better at anything, right? You associate with people that you are able to get access to, that are better at the skills that you're looking to master, so that you can get guidance, you can learn, you can get mentored by these people, and I guess almost piggyback off their experience and the lessons that they've that have been hard won by them, so you don't have to go through the same hardships or lessons or experiences to gain that knowledge. So if you almost consider it as a way to leapfrog or jumpstart or piggyback on, as I said, those people and their wealth of information and knowledge that they're willing to share with you, you can almost jump the queue and advance and get better far quicker, right? So it's much easier to do in that regard. Now, humans, I would say, advance our societies really by building on the knowledge of those people that have come before us, right? So to do that effectively, you need to be able to absorb knowledge from people that are smarter than you, right? And this is why I say in today's episode, be the dumbest person in the room. Now, obviously that's a very generic statement. You don't literally have to be like an imbecile or like a complete fool, right? But I think the point that I'm trying to articulate is being around people that you can learn greater skills from. Right? If that's as simple as I can put it, it's being around those people that you can learn new things and new skills and new abilities in your life from those people, right? So we all want to have credibility in life. If you look like you know what you're talking about, even in that sense, right? Like ultimately you want to know what you're talking about. But have you ever considered, right, when you say follow someone on social media, or you look up to a celebrity, or you're influenced by a public figure, have you ever seen people that stand up very tall, look you in the eyes, and speak confidently, clearly, and concisely about what they are sharing with you? They have credibility. You believe in those people because we judge each other by appearances, people, whether we like it or not. There's a reason behind that. There's a mechanism, like evolutionarily, to understand, is this person worth listening to? Am I better off or worse off for trusting or listening to what this person is gifting to me, right? So when someone stands up and shares that information, or is confident in their delivery, we tend to look up to that person, or give them the benefit of the doubt, so to speak, right? So when we look like we know what we're talking about, and also what we what we bring to the table, what we deliver, what we can offer of value to our communities and society as a whole, it really determines our status or placement, or how we're viewed in society. Right now, there personally, I don't think there is anything wrong with social standing, provided that it's whatever standing you may have in society, you don't use it against other people, or assume or feel or believe that you're better than others because of your social standing. Right now, there could be a person, for example, that is very financially successful, and has, say, a wife and five children, a lovely home, runs a company, but they could be the most horrible person to work for, and mean and cruel and disrespectful to their employees, and horrible to their wife and children. That to me, in my eyes, that's not a great social standing. Like it's like the Wizard of Oz. What's behind the curtain, right? So social standing and structure in society is important because we all have a role to play, right? We all have, I guess, what can we bring to the table? As I said, what do we offer? What can we do? How do we contribute to the benefit of all? Right? Because ultimately that's the game, right? The reason that humans have become such a successful species on the planet is our ability to communicate, to cooperate, and to tell stories, and share and gift each other with knowledge, and pass that information through time, generationally, right? So these are the things that there's no harm in having a structure to society, because we all have strengths and weaknesses, and if we learn to master our strengths and abilities and play to those things, we can offer those to other people that helps and ultimately benefits society as a whole, but also ourselves and our ability to provide for our family, and the lives of those around us who are impacted directly by those strengths that we offer for them, right? So we all want to have our place, and I guess a good standing, and I mean, I think most people would look favorably upon being respected in their communities, or admired in their communities, and like, even down to, if you've ever watched a documentary about like, just on a side note, right, when, like, a documentary about perhaps like a drug syndicate, for example, right, where they've a very poor community, and there's not a lot of opportunity, and some drug kingpin will take portions of the profit. Now, I'm not condoning this in any sense, but they will put money back into the community or support the community, and you'll see that other elements of the community start to support them, or look up to them, or be thankful for them. Now, it's a lot to unpack right now. This could go many different ways, and there's a lot of turmoil and destruction and problems that drugs bring to the community as well. So I'm not talking in that sense. In the sense, what I'm explaining, I guess, is how we can help one another and play our part in those communities right now. And the reason I gave that example is really that, even in a negative example, or a challenging what's the word I'm looking for? I guess in that scenario, it's frowned upon. It's not the ideal dynamic, right? But what I'm trying to get across is, even in those situations, social standing and structure is important, and giving back and supporting the community. So even in people doing the wrong things or destructive things, there's elements where they're trying potentially to give to the community, right? So all of us, I feel, relate to or understand that concept of trying to have our place, and be able to give back or give to the community and share what we can do, right? For one another, for the betterment of society as a whole, right? So the I guess part of the struggle is that, you know, for better or worse, social standing is determined by status, right? And every one of us is in a struggle for position, right? I know in my experience from when I was a rapper and into hip hop and performing, and I looked different. I dressed differently. I had dreadlocks. The way I was perceived, random people in the street would say, mean or horrible things, or be disrespectful, or think it appropriate to comment on you, or let you know that they don't approve of you, right? Now, and then on the other side, I've you know, as a businessman, dressed in a suit, driving a nice car, eating in nice places, and see the way people treat me differently, even the way that more opportunity or doors open, So I don't think there's value in hiding behind the truth of appearance and the way you present matters. Right now, I'm merely here to go through a conversation with you guys, and I don't control how society works in any sense, and nor do you. But what's key in understanding the lessons and the episodes that we go through on Forever Better Academy is how to navigate through these life mazes, and really learn how to play the game and do our best and get the most out of our lives by knowing how to approach life with the most useful tools and mindsets, right? So everyone's in a struggle for position. Now, internally, I think, and I believe most people have felt the same way that I have, and you want to feel important. Even if it's just to, like, say, your loved ones, right? Maybe you just want to feel important as a good dad to your kids. You want your kids to think of you as that hero and look up to you. Or maybe you want your co-workers to think you're dependent and reliable, and you're that person that they can call upon when they need to, right? Everyone wants to feel some sense of importance in their life. And the easiest way to do that is playing to your strengths, right? Because you're satisfying that need of wanting belonging and feeling important. You're also satisfying fulfillment in your life because you have a sense of purpose, and you're also giving back and using the gifts and the strengths that you've been blessed with to impact and make other people's lives better for it, right? So you kind of, in a good position when you're able to comfortably find that and position yourself in that regard, right? Now, when I talk about, being the dumbest person in the room, this is probably the biggest challenge or obstacle that you may face in getting into the right rooms in the first place, right? Now, to go back to that example where I said as I was a rapper and how I dressed and appeared, and versus being a businessman and how I appear and dress and how I carry myself and how I speak now, very different. The rooms that I have access to now versus the rooms that I had access to then are vastly different, right? And one of the challenges that I had to face internally was understanding there may not be something that I like about the approach or how I have to present myself or be to get in those rooms, but ultimately what truly matters is the outcome that I'm seeking. Do I want to get in that room bad enough? Is there an importance? Does it align with my goals and my ambitions in life enough for me to consider putting on a suit? Now, you may listen to this and think, what a strange thing to say. Like, it's not a complex thing or a hard thing to dress nicely, right? But I can tell you, there was a time when there was nothing I could think of worse than dressing in a suit and a tie, or corporate, or like when I had dreadlocks. I didn't want a nice haircut and be clean and trimmed, and it wasn't that I wanted to be dirty, but that appearance didn't reflect what I believed about myself at the time, or who I believed I was at the time, right? So there's absolutely that pushback or resistance internally when you're at a certain place in your life, where you may not be ready to do things, even if they seem like small, trivial things. At some point, those feel like big step ups and big challenges, and you shouldn't measure those things, how they feel for you versus if they're difficult or easy for somebody else. It doesn't matter about other people. If that's a challenge for you to feel comfortable in, say, a room where people are smarter than you, and you feel overwhelmed, and it's daunting, that's a big step up. But it's a huge victory if you can learn to be comfortable enough to step outside your comfort zone and do the things that you don't typically do, or don't feel comfortable in doing just yet. If they get you the outcome that you're seeking, are they not worth doing? Right? That's the question. Now, if you are trying to get into rooms with people, or in a circle of people that you're inspired by, or can that you can learn from, right? You've got to do things that are a little different to what you're doing now. If what you're doing now doesn't put you in those rooms, right? And if you don't feel a little overwhelmed and uncomfortable with that new settings and surroundings, are you really challenging yourself enough? Are you putting yourself in the room that you need to be in? Right? Now, who answer right? Like, if you, I wish this was interactive. Put in the comments, if you're watching this, answer in the comments for me. Do you feel uncomfortable in new spaces around new people? Some of us do, some don't. Some revel in it. Some thrive in those new environments, mingling, and are very social and want to be around new people, and cannot wait to be around that. Other people, it's like the public speaking thing, are so scared and intimidated about what other people are going to think, because you know that that's why people are afraid of public speaking, and because they're being judged. Again, right? We might not like that, but that's the structure of society. There's an evolutionary purpose why we do that and judge on appearance, because there's mechanisms in place so we can make valid decisions that are safe for us and move us through our interactions with one another, right? So if you don't feel a little bit uncomfortable, I would ask, are you really challenging yourself enough? Greatness occurs beyond the edge of your comfort zone. If you want to learn from great minds and great people, and the people that are in positions that you would like to be in, you have to be around those people. You've got to surround yourself with those people. Now, if you are literally the dumbest person in the room, of course you're going to feel intimidated. You are. But I guarantee you, this is something that I've learned from being around greater thinkers and people with exceptional talent and ability to make things occur and change and impact other people's lives. When you're overwhelmed or intimidated, or you're in those rooms and you're the dumbest person in the room, figuratively, you can be so intimidated that you think that those people are going to frown upon you, or look down upon you, or be mean to you, or treat you like you don't belong in those rooms. And they may well do that. But most, if not all, of the people that I have been exposed to and been thankful enough to be able to interact with on that higher level, they're so much more kind and focused and driven and want to give back and are appreciative. Because if you think about all the traits, the tools, techniques, habits, principles, all the things that I share with you guys on this podcast that position you and align your behaviors and traits with those of people that are achieving great things, when you get in those rooms, you realize those people are just like you. You know, if you're searching and you don't feel like you found your place and you're able to get into a room with people or accepted into a circle of people that are doing the things you want to do, and you have that same ambition, they were there once too. They can relate to you. They see you on your journey. They see that you may be 2 steps behind where they are, and most of them want to be helpful. They do want you to succeed because they were in that same position and somebody helped them up when they were in that position. So never be intimidated or concerned or worried about how you're going to be treated by those people. If you don't put yourself out on a limb every once in a while, you can't, progress or advance or improve yourself. It requires challenge, right? And what better challenge than putting yourself out on a limb and doing something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, right? And the reason it makes us feel uncomfortable is because at those moments, we're not confident because we're not competent, right? So I love the saying, competence breeds confidence. Think about anything that you've done in your life the very first time. Right, I remember, like, for example, right, when I was in grade 9 in art class, I couldn't draw very well, and I remember drawing this photorealism, attempting to draw a face, a woman's face, just with lead pencils, graphite pencils, right? Lead pencils, what we call it when I was a kid, even though it wasn't lead anymore. Just with charcoal and pencils, right? And I was horrible, naturally, because it's not instinctively. Some people might be better than others when they first take up a new skill, but I was never just magically gifted at drawing, right? And I was so frustrated. I can remember being so challenged and frustrated with this drawing, and I couldn't get the technique. I couldn't figure it out, and nor should I have been able to. It was like my first attempt. And I remember being frustrated and embarrassed and disappointed with my efforts and what I handed in to the teacher. And I remember being marked down and because that's how schools operate, instead of encouraging effort, they will grade you on whether you're already good at something versus whether you're not, even if you put more effort in than the kid that was naturally talented and got a 10 out of 10 or an A+ on their drawing, right? Ridiculous. So I remember I wasn't confident with my art because I wasn't competent. Over years, as I became a graffiti artist, and I spent 15 years drawing like almost every day of my life and painting murals and learning how to use my tools and understanding technique and how to hold and position a spray can and the pressure on the nozzle, how you operate with your tools, and to the point where now, like, I could paint a photorealism face on a wall with spray paint. It's and at the time, when I began, I never would have imagined that would be possible. And now I look at it and I'm completely confident in my ability because I'm competent now. And it came from work, right? 15 years. It took a long time. It took commitment. It took dedication and a desire to get to that point, right? So when you get in these rooms, right, you're not going to be confident because you're not competent to begin with. And that's okay. That's the reason why you want to be in those rooms. If you're going into those rooms already confident, you're probably one of the smarter people in the room, and you should be pushing harder to get into a room with greater people again. When you start to hit that ceiling in the comfort zone and you're already, okay, I'm supremely confident in this room because I know how people are going to respond to me and I'm good at what I do. Challenge yourself again. New circle, new room. There's always someone you can learn from who's further ahead than you, has done more than you have, that you can learn and grow from being around that person or those people, right? So the realization when it hits you, like, and this is probably a question, you may be listening to this thinking, great in theory, Wade, how do I get in those rooms, right? Because that's ultimately the question. It's all well and good for me to sit here and tell you, be in these rooms, but to get in those rooms and be in those positions where you have those opportunities available to you, you have to give first, right? You have to bring something that you can offer to the people in those rooms that's valuable to them. That's simple, right? Humans as a species, human beings, we're transactional creatures, right? We trade items with one another of value. We negotiate. We do business. We have markets. Like we created tokens like that. We tell ourselves a story and believe that a token holds value. So we accept that, and then we trade with one another to gain benefits mutually for both parties. Now, this is how we are structured as a species, right? As primates, this is how we operate. So when you're in that position as the dumbest person in the room, if you don't have value to bring from the perspective of what you can offer in, say, networking with other people, or providing whatever your skill set is to that business perhaps that is looking for what you offer, or for example, if I was pitching doing a graffiti mural for somebody, that's a value that I can offer into the room or bring to the room. Right now, everyone starts at the beginning, right? So if it's something as simple as, in that room, there's a person that you admire and you look up to and you would love to do and achieve what that person has done with their life so far. Is it not valuable to offer that person that you will work for them for free? Right? And right now I can hear resistance already. People probably at the screen saying, I don't have the luxury to work for free. Why would I do that? Why not? Ask yourself, why not? Now, I'm not saying you replace your income or your full-time paying job to go and work for somebody for free. I understand that you can't support your family in doing that. But what's to say that you couldn't do that after hours or on weekends? Right? Progress takes sacrifice. If you have that desire to improve and the capacity to offer the value exchange, if you don't have a lot to offer, the greatest asset we have is time. So if you want to exchange value or bring value to the people in that room, offer your time, right? Time is the greatest resource we have. If you offer your time and you go in and show that person that you are so committed and appreciative rather to them, and you want to learn and absorb and soak in the knowledge that they have, the only way you're going to do that is by being around that person, by listening to that person, watching how they move, watching how they talk, watching how they carry themselves, how they interact with other people, how they are with their friends and families versus how they are in a business scenario, versus how they are with people they've never met before, right? You have to be in that circle to see and absorb that, and is that not so valuable to you that it's worth trading some of your time for free? Is it not? Now, how arrogant is it to be expected to be paid for your time around that person when you're looking to gain something from that person. That's not a fair exchange or trade in my mind, right? The transaction is you're willing to trade your time, which is the value you can bring. You're giving that person something. You have to bring something to the table. You're offering that person the value of your time that benefits them because you're doing something for them for free. And in exchange, they will share with you, and you're around that person. You get to see that. That's a trade. That's a fair trade. Now, if you want to be around someone, as I said, that influences you, inspires you, and you're hoping to learn from, and you expect to be paid for them, that's the transaction. What you're giving them of value is being exchanged for money. Now, you're no better being around that person because you're getting money for the equation, and you could get money working in any job. Right? Now, of course, it's better for you to be in a position earning money in a better job around better people who you can learn from. Absolutely. But that's not a fair equation, right? It's not win-win. That person then now is giving to you out of the goodness of their heart. And most of those people are very busy, right? People on a higher level, or high achievers, or people that have run a business perhaps, have a lot going on, and time is precious. There has to be an equal exchange, or an exchange where each party feels that what they're getting is greater than what the value of what they're exchanging for what they're receiving. Does that make sense? So it's important, and you have to be okay with giving. Giving comes first. I promise you, all the times that I have given of myself, or of my time, or of my money, or anything that I have that's a valuable resource that I give before I ask or expect, it always works out better for me. Every single time. Right? Yeah, have you ever heard of a philanthropist going broke from giving to charity? It doesn't happen, right? Like, think about it. No one goes broke from giving to charity, right? Now, you have to give, right? To the plan, when you understand, when you grasp that, and you truly realize that's a fair trade-off. What I can bring to the table when I am the dumbest person in the room, and now again, just for clarity, again, I don't mean dumbest as in like you are the least intelligent in the room, but in the sense of not as competent in the area that you're choosing to pursue, right? So when you've realized that you have to contribute, and you have to bring whatever you can, the value that you have, be it small or much less than what other people in the room may have, you will have something that you can exchange that is of value to the people in that room, that will get you into those rooms and keep you in those rooms, right? So bring that value, and when you do that, your reputation grows. Your reliability grows. People start to know about you. People will talk about you. People will, believe it or not, you will receive more opportunities because of those things that you've been doing, right? You imagine, right? No complaints. You're working on weekends for somebody for free. Okay, let's say as an example, right? Top level. I would 100% do this with Tony Robbins. Right? Imagine the privilege of being around that man, and soaking in and absorbing the knowledge, and seeing how he reacts, and seeing how he operates on a daily basis. Invaluable. He is still giving more to me in that equation. Me offering my time for free still might not be enough of a value proposition for him to accept an offer of that regard, right? But can you imagine the value gained in being in that scenario? Is that not worth it, right? So, let's say you do that for someone like a Tony Robbins, right? And you're you're doing the work for free, your energy's good, you're excited, you're appreciative, and he can see that. And then in passing, maybe Tony mentions to other people or colleagues or business owners or world leaders that he works with, he talks highly of you and how thankful he is that your efforts and energies and the kind of person you are. And then all of a sudden that person is interested in giving you an opportunity because your reputation now, you have your standing, right? As I said, we position, that's your social standing. This, you're of value. You're bringing more to the table. It opens more doors. It gets you in greater rooms, and it gets you around the people that you want to be around. This is how we rise through the ranks and grow and navigate, and it's fun. Right? Are you guys with me? This is like gold, when you understand that even if you feel you've got nothing or no resources or you don't have a lot of money to offer, there's always something. Do some research, right? Find that person that you love and you're extremely inspired by and want to be around. Find out, this is key too, right? Be on time and find a problem they have. Find out what is keeping them up at night. What's the thorn in their side? What's giving them grief? Solve the problem for them for nothing. Watch what happens. You'll see the difference when you do something that's created impact in that person's life, or created ease or freedom, or given opportunity to that person, or fix something for them that they couldn't fix. Something good's going to come from that. It always does, right? And if not in that first instance, down the line. Right? Now, and that's another thing that's important, right? Like, you might not know what rooms to be in or what people to be around. And when you're new to this and you're learning how to navigate this space, and you, as I say, go out on a limb, you have to take chances, right? So you go out on a limb. Let's say you go into you manage to get into a circle and create an opportunity for yourself where you can learn from or grow and be around people that you've been trying to get around. And you do all this great work and nothing comes of it. Was it no longer worth it? Does it change who you are? Have you not learnt something? If you do those things, right, it will come back to you, if not immediately, down the track, I promise you. Because when someone responds to your actions in a negative way or in an unexpected way, it's not a reflection on your character and who you are and what you did. So even if you don't get the desired outcome or the anticipated outcome, it doesn't lessen what you have been doing, and those efforts are building who you become, right? Who could you become? When you do those things, it doesn't matter how other people respond or react, or if they reciprocate, or if they reward you for your efforts. Your efforts are the reward enough. You've become better because of what you have been doing, and you've learned more about yourself. Your character's stronger, and sure enough, someone will hear about it, and the opportunities will come. Don't give up. Don't change what you're doing. If someone doesn't reciprocate, on the good or the value you've given to them, don't compromise in your beliefs and your honor and who you are as a person, because that is your business card. That's your calling. That's your reputation, and it's everything. Right? Like if you had someone, let's say you're the smartest person in the room, and you had a younger kid come up to you and offer you these things, right? And wanted to work for you for free, or solve some problems for you for no cost, and prove themselves, and see if they could give to you because they're trying to grow themselves. And you say you never gave back to that person, you absorbed it, you took it in. Now, I would hope that you didn't do that, but you would still think highly of that person, that guy or that girl, because their integrity wasn't compromised at all, because what they did in their character held strong regardless of how you treated them, right? Right? We all know someone that we've been inspired by or motivated or captivated by the way that they approach things. And you always know, I guarantee every one of us has a friend that we know is that friend that's reliable. We could always call upon. Their integrity is strong, right? That character is important, right? Now, you know, don't be concerned if you don't immediately get the outcome that you seek or gain access to those circles and those rooms that you're trying to get into. Keep doing the right things. Hold strong with your character. The way you approach things is reflection on you. Don't worry about it. It will come back. I promise you. Okay? If not this time, not next time, it will come back. Keep being the right kind of person. Integrity matters. Authenticity is important. No matter what anyone else says, I promise you, right? Now, ultimately, when all this sort of when you go through this and you get in those rooms and you start to experience that growth over time and being around these people and absorbing the knowledge and wealth of information and gifts that they have to offer and share with you, you become a smarter person in the room. And when that happens, you have the journey and the story that you've gone through, so that when the younger people come to you and offer you these things, offer you their time, want to be in those rooms, you can help bring them up with you, right? Because you've been on the same journey. And that's what I was saying earlier. Those people in those rooms above you, in those stages of life that are further ahead from where you are currently, they 99% have probably gone on a very similar journey to you and can understand and relate to you, even if you think that you're not like those people. You truly are. You truly are, right? So, and again, right, this is where we add to society. We all build upon the knowledge that came before, and we have to do this to work together. You know, when you get in those rooms, never forget, once you get to those points that you want to be at and you're still striving to get into greater rooms beyond that, because you always should be, always should be challenging yourself and growing into those more advanced stages in your life. Don't forget to bring people with you. Bring people along for the journey, and always lift those people up that are a few steps below you, right? All right, guys, that's all I want to share with you guys today. So I hope this has been valuable to you guys. I know these techniques and the tools that I'm sharing with you today have especially helped and benefited me and got me into some fantastic rooms with some very wonderful and inspiring and incredible people. And I know they'll do the same for you. So don't be afraid. Take action. Reach out to one of those people. Reach out to as many of the people that you look up to now and inspire you, and find out about them. Offer them some value. Do some research. Don't ask them. Don't bother them and be like, what problems do you need fixed, right? That's easy. Anyone can ask, what problems do you have? Go do some research. Find out. Learn about these people, right? Put that effort and that work in, and you'll be rewarded handsomely for it. I promise you. All right, guys, this is Wade Vincent. You have been listening to the Forever Better Academy podcast. New episodes every Friday. And for those of you that are new, thank you for joining and thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel, click on the bell and get notifications and share the content. Right? It's all about improvement and growing and doing this together. So I would much appreciate if you guys would, return the favor and share out the goodness that I'm sharing with you. And I look forward to speaking to you again next week. All right, guys. Thanks so much. See you later.